Good morning, good day, and good evening. I'm as always your host, Brody Robertson, and today we have a very nondescript image on the show, but if you're an Arch Linux user, you probably recognize the name. Welcome to the show, Tytan652. How's it going?
It's going fine.
So, for anyone who doesn't know who you are or never heard of like a lot of the stuff you get involved with, give yourself a brief introduction.
I think I'm just a random guy that happened to begin contributing to OBS years ago and suddenly have an urge to create mini OBS IR packages.
Mhm.
Yeah, just to help people to have a easier life to
Mhm,
have
mhm.
OBS on Arch Linux.
Because when you started doing stuff, that was long before the flatpak existed. At least the flatpak being like an official part of the OBS project. So back then,
Yeah, the
like,
flatpak was unofficial at this
mm,
point. Yeah.
when did you start? So most people probably are going to know you from one specific package. You do a lot more than just that, but the package in particular, OBS Studio Titan 652.
Yeah.
For a long time, that was the OBS package that most people would recommend. I've talked about my personal issues with the actual Arch Linux OBS package and how it's really badly packaged and they will not fix it no matter how many times they're told it's badly packaged. So usually people would have recommended your package to actually have basic things working. Like I remember the main reason people would suggest it back then was the OBS browser stuff, which still to this day does not work in the Arch official package.
Yeah. There was another package which was OBS Studio Browser
Yes,
to
yes.
provide. Yes, but for Tytan652, the main point was mainly to have most of the upstream features available
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
because OBS Browser was a little incomplete, if I remember correctly.
mm-hmm.
I don't remember because now the ownership of Browser was given to me.
Yeah,
So
I see that. I was confused for a second. I just
Mm.
noticed that you're the maintainer on both of them now.
yeah, technically it was upfront, and then I take ownership.
Right, right. Okay, okay.
So the difference between the two of them now is just a patch.
Why did you take over that package when it got orphaned?
Because I think it was better because many people were already using this package. And
Mm,
I thought about improving it because it's not. I was trying to avoid if there was no guarantee would someone would take ownership of it, and
mhm,
the level of maintenance burden is almost to zero because there is many common modifications
mhm.
between the two packages now.
Was it like that before, or has it sort of become more like that as you've been maintaining it?
When I took the ownership of Dutch browser, I modified heavily the package to match more Tytan652, but just for the part. Um, I don't remember completely. I need to check my package, the package build git tree,
Mhm,
but it was mostly using VLC Lua.jit to avoid VLC crashes
mhm.
because it was really a common issue. Because when you are loading Lua symbols through the VLC plugins, OBS will crash. So-
Okay.
because it was loading Lua 52 symbols
Mhm.
at this time, and OBS was loading Lua.jit, which is
Right,
5.1.
right. Yes, okay. God, it's been a while since I've been messing around with the AUR
Yeah,
packages.
and the Arch package decided to disable the VLC feature
Hmm.
to fix it.
Right, right. So I've I definitely talked about the problems with the OBS package on my main channel before, but with the like actual Arch Linux package, what are the issues for anyone who isn't already aware? I know there's more than one of them, so maybe this is going to take a
Uh,
while.
as it is now, there is missing VLC packages,
Mhm.
the VLC plugins. Sorry, um, there are no browsers because the logic behind it is right. Is that we use OBS use a custom versions of CEF, and we have a because of the wall of screen rendering patches that we need on CEF, we can't use upstream CEF to build OBS, and so Arch Linux can't package a specific versions just for OBS. This is the outcome of the bug tracker. And then I think there was the lack of OBS VST, but now we matched the plugin entry, so now by Twinkle effect, I think it's the right word. I don't remember. It
trickle down, something like that.
Trickle down, yes, trickle down. But they forgot to enable it by default. So someone made a bug report to have it enabled. So now it lacks mostly browser VLC, WebSocket, Edge, which is like another. It's like Decklink devices, but another vendor. I think it's mainly tools once, and also I force the presence of Qt Wayland when installing the package, because otherwise OBS will crash on Wayland because the backend is not there. It's not that it crashed; it's that Qt goes and say, "Oh, the backend is not there. I'm not starting."
Right. That makes sense.
I think it's mostly the main ones, and also I enforced, unfortunately for the users, FFmpeg OBS, a custom build of FFmpeg, to have the REST protocol support as it is advertised in the upstream project in the Flatpak, and also some fixes around AOM profiles that I think FFmpeg upstream still provides only 8 levels, and upstream AOM provides 10. I don't know if they increased the number since then, but it's the main patches, the main differences. But FFmpeg OBS is a stupidly big package build, because since I enforce FFmpeg OBS, a certain FFmpeg package on everyone, I decided to let's add options to be able to, if someone wanted FFmpeg full, they can build FFmpeg OBS full with the same package build.
I just opened up the package build. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. It's a 500-line package build.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that all of those problems were there with the
only to reduce frictions with users. I did that because I don't want it to be a burden on them. Oh, I need to use this specific FFmpeg. You can customize it. If you wanted FFmpeg Vulkan, just enable the Vulkan option. Yeah, you're good.
So I think it's fair to say that if you're going to make use of OBS, you probably shouldn't make use of the Arch package. Like, it's fine as like a baseline. You're just trying to capture your screen for the most part, but for the most part.
It was. Oh, sorry. I remember a long time issue about it's fine as long you can capture your screen. There was a period that they forgot to add the Pipewire dependency. So the Linux capture plugin was not loading because the Linux X capture plugin and Linux Pipewire were one at this time.
Do you remember when that was?
I think you can. It's the first version that was providing Pipewire capture.
Okay, so that would have been still before the Flatpak then, yes?
At the same time, because the Pipewire stuff and the Flatpak were both made by Georges Strobacas. So They are almost at the same time. I think it's maybe 27.1.
Mm.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Okay, so a while now. Yeah, definitely. I think back then I was probably. I don't think I had even tried Wayland at that point, so I don't think I would have noticed that problem. That's
Yeah, 27.1 was, yes, it's 27.
Mhm.
Wayland on Linux and
Mhm.
flatpak at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would have swapped over to the flatpak at that point, but I wasn't using Wayland yet, so I didn't even realize that had happened. Ah, here we go. Okay,
Yeah.
send a link. Oh, that was
Yeah.
a while ago. Wow.
Yeah. And at the same
2021.
time, I arrived and I made service integration a thing on the flatpak because how the flatpak manifest was, flatpak builder and flatpak manifest were designed. There was no way to have secrets, which are in our case API keys. Let me find the PR about it.
If you can find it, I'll definitely show it.
I can find it because GitHub has the by order filter. The point was literally how we could. It's so the point of the PR is we write on the manifest, we have these secrets, but they're not written in the manifest. They are interpreted at runtime while building. And so when you check the manifest manually, you can see there is secrets, but you don't know them. Because it was the main problem is that you were leaking the secrets without this new feature.
Was this for the like the YouTube integration?
Twitch, YouTube, and Restream integrations, yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, it was just we were discussing in the development channel about it. I just say I will check the flat builder code, and the same day I just go out with a better ID than what George Strokas had provided first. It's in the first sentence of the PR. He had created a way to not install the manifest inside the package, which was not good because it was really preferred that the manifest stay in the flatpak package. Flatpak package, sorry. And I proposed this approach and it got approved. So it was my first contribution to the flatpak ecosystem in general.
Yeah, so on that list of things the Arch package doesn't do, there is another one because they don't have the secrets there. So you don't have the YouTube. Well, you don't have the browser stuff, which also it doesn't even matter. Like so much other stuff's broken anyway. This is just a cherry on top.
Yeah.
So you don't have the YouTube, Twitch, and Restream integration, which doesn't even matter because you don't have the browser integration anyway. And a lot of the functionality that comes from the YouTube integration is built in with the browser integration because it opens up browser docs. So it doesn't even matter that it's broken. You weren't going to use it anyway.
Yeah, technically until the new browser doc arrived for YouTube. YouTube was what could be literally the YouTube integration was the only integration that could be built without the browser integration.
Okay.
But nobody's gonna. Google's have a rate limit on APIs.
Right.
So I don't think even distributions would even try to provide their own API keys for the YouTube API because you will reach the rate limit rather quickly if you have multiple users using the integration.
Yeah, this is one of the things whenever I bring up the integration stuff, people always ask me, well, why can't they just add their own API keys? And they could add their own API keys, but that's the problem.
It's more complicated because of how Twitch and Restream or these API or designs. We are a sort of man in the middle software. I send the link.
Let's see. Okay, OBS OAuth CF. Okay.
So we have this thing to be able to have, because when you setting when you're asking for API key for Restream or Twitch,
Mhm.
you have to put I always forgot. You need to set a specific HTTP address, a redirect or URL. You need to set that. And so it's not easy to do that locally because you have a random HTTP port and stuff like that. And so we use that in the middle to be able to have the same redirect URL each time we try to use the integration. So they technically need to host something similar to this at the same time. But also and since all the distributions have none of them provides a way to have secrets. So mostly you always happen to leak the API keys at some point.
Right.
And you don't want to have them misused.
So theoretically, it would be possible if they modified some of the infrastructure. It's just they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, if they want to create the infrastructure, I think Nobara did it. I think, but I don't look at it because it's a kind of package I try to not look into.
Right.
Yeah, we can talk about that later, but there's some packages I don't look at it, or when we do supports, we are forced to send them back to the distro support.
I feel like a major one here is probably the snap.
Yes.
I don't know if I don't think this is a snap specific issue. There just seems to be this trend of when someone decides to make a third party snap, there's just a lot of bad things that have happened with really complex applications recently.
Yeah.
Did you pay any attention to the Steam snap?
Oh, it was a fun one. Yeah, I said, oh, press one on the snaps goes wrong.
The devs are just like, can we, like, please don't use this. And like they had issues where their internal developers didn't realize they had it installed and they were using it as well. And it was just an absolute nightmare.
This is the biggest issue, is that people are not conscious of what they were installing because Ubuntu is swapping debs for snaps.
That's the real problem. If you were just installing the snap and you knew you were doing it, that's one thing. When it hides the fact.
This is one of the biggest problem I have with Ubuntu and Canonical is this simple decision. I could always put out the server side is proprietary, but really forcing the user without being conscious. It's not a conscious decision. I don't want to snap so bad if they are. When you're using Flatpak, you're conscious, usually. Or you're in immutable distributions, and Flatpaks are mostly the only way. But yeah.
I will make an exception for the case where the snap is the official package. Like if I believe with the newer versions of Ubuntu they're doing snap cups. Yeah, their printer stack is becoming snaps. So if they hide the fact they're installing the snap in the background, that's the official way from the application developer to make use of the project. So in that case, it's not as bad. Like I still don't like taking the control away from the user, but at least in that case, they're not diverting you to a version of the project that is being is just not supported.
Yeah, the case of cups is that they're trying to stop being. They try to be closer to the user space side to avoid having to root access, if I remember correctly.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and also when it's first party, like Mozilla's snaps, you can. Sometimes I think it's just to avoid to have the same issues we had. Just to avoid to say, let's make it good, so we don't have people throwing rocks at us, or it's not us.
Right. So, with the OBS snap, I didn't even realize. Oh, I assumed there was something that existed. I didn't realize like what the OBS snap actually was though, because it's not just an OBS
Yeah.
snap, which would be fine. It's a batteries included package.
There is two variants of snaps. There is
Oh, I didn't even
the
realize.
29. There,
Wait, what?
in the whole story of this snap, there is two variants of the package.
Uh-huh.
There is the one that was stuck on 29. I
Uh-huh.
think it was stuck on 29.1 for a while. It was batteries included. It has, I think, 20 plugins. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, it gets upgraded. And it's 50 plugins included.
Wait. I are there 50 plugins? Wait, I didn't even know there were 50 plugins that regular people would want to use. Like, I know there are
No.
lots of OBS plugins, but how do you find 50 just generic plugins that normal people would want?
You don't. You just I think I might find the. I don't remember where it is, but the snap got based on other project from.
Mhm.
It's someone who created its recipe to build OBS with all the plugins he wants.
Mhm.
And one of the snap managers thought it was a good idea to use
What?
this recipe to provide the package as a snap.
Wait, what?
And
No, I just saw one of the plugins. I'm confused why it exists. One of the plugins is
yeah,
called source clone. Add source cloning. Wait, can't you just do that? What? Wait, I'm confused.
it's Excel plugins, so I think it's the good way than to exist.
I'm so these. There is
I,
so
I don't. I know there is a use case, but I don't
right,
remember which one. I package it on EUR, so
right.
yeah. No, the main issue is that they. The main issue with that is like you. I written a post on Mastodon a while ago.
Mhm.
I was complaining about the batteries included thing and the fact that it was completely forgetting to communicate about the fact there is tons of third-party plugins,
Mhm.
and this is not the best way to. How do you communicate that to the user?
Mhm.
It's my main point. How do you communicate to the user? Oh, all these features are not in OBS. If you took it from the PPA, or if you took it from the flatpak,
Mhm.
or any other package variant, and they don't communicate about it, and there is when you it's also the support part is how do you redirect users to the right support,
Right.
because when we get on the OBS server community, we arrive, someone with the snap installed arrives, we set post a log,
Mhm.
and we have a log analyzer installed in the server Discord, and we saw it has distributions Ubuntu core.
Mhm.
So we have to say you either go to the Snapcrafter support or you swap to the PPA or the Flatpak.
Right.
Yeah, we clearly don't we don't try to. We can, if someone wants to help, they can help us Snap users, but they're not forced to. We are all volunteers when it comes to the Linux support.
Right.
And the Snap is usually a real pain, so we don't.
Mhm. Well, I think it would also depend if they are aware of like what the problem is. Like if they know it
Yeah.
specifically with a plugin and there's someone who knows about that plugin, like it would be a lot easier to help that person. If they don't even realize that they are using a plugin, it's a they think it's just a feature of OBS. Like you're gonna run into a lot of problems there where you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're using. Like this is not a feature in the project. Like I need some information to go on here.
Yeah, and all the plugins loaded or written in the log.
Mhm.
So sometimes we don't even we just scroll and also all the plugins is, and we take a guess, and then we scroll up and we say Ubuntu car. I was right.
Right.
Yeah, we take guesses, and sometimes I weird. As an example, I don't know how Snaps works, but I think the issues with Snaps batteries included is that Snaps have no design for extensions.
Right.
They nothing to have extensions, and rather than trying to create extensions, they're doing this thing that is technically wrong, because when the user installs the snaps, it doesn't read the whole README.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I understand how users get confused with it, right? Like, it makes sense because you think, oh, I've installed OBS. Yeah, it does have this big, like, unofficial thing here, but every package you install is unofficial. If you install a package on Debian or a package on Arch Linux,
yeah,
these are all unofficial packages.
but you have
But
less, not more.
yeah, what really annoys me about the Snap Store is they will put this nice little verified badge next to things where Snapcrafters is the developer of the package. It's like, you're not the project developer. Can we not have these verified badges here? Like, it just leads to confusion.
I always forgot that they are it's so wrong from them to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because you already did a video, if I remember correctly, about FlatHub verified.
Yes.
Yeah, you're either verified by GitLab, but there is custom path for nums and KDE's developer, but you are verified because you have this GitHub account. You are verified because you have put this TXT file in your domain name. Here we say, oh, it's a first party. It is the purpose of the verified on FlatHub is it's first party.
Yes.
And Snaps is not first party, is that, oh, you can trust us.
Yes, Snaps is like, oh, Snapcrafters is the publisher. Like, okay. Right, but like... Yeah, no. Like, there are so many things published by Snapcrafters, like Discord. Like, I get they're trying to, like, what they're trying to say here. They're trying to say that, like, you know what? I don't know what they're trying to say, actually. I try to give them, like, the benefit of the doubt here. I actually don't know what they're trying to say.
Oh, I don't know. If I remember correctly, for the Spotify Flatpak package, we packaged the Snap one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if the Discord is not first party, right? I don't know. I think the FlatHub is trying to make it first party.
It's currently published by Snapcrafters, so maybe they're trying to.
Yeah, FlatHub is I think is trying to
FlatHub
ask
is, ooh, okay.
is trying to ask the upstream if they want to maintain the Flatpak.
Mm-hmm.
It's more, do you want to maintain it? Otherwise, we still maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually there is a few people that maintains all these packages. I think I think about it, but packaging Discord and Spotify on the Flatpak is really a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have I don't know if you know about it, but sometimes they used Electron or CF.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is you have two sandbox trying to communicate to each other. Sometimes it's a real mess.
Ah, right.
We have the Flatpak sandbox, and I think the name is Zygote for Chromium. And so someone from the Flatpak devs created something called Zigpack, and so almost every Chromium-based application is, if they use the sandbox, is patched with Zygote.
Mm-hmm.
Zigpack. As an example, OBS, we don't have the sandbox available for CF.
Mhm.
But I don't remember why, but it was not usable for now.
Mhm.
But we have other issues for CF on OBS, like the infamous it does not work, browser docs and Wayland.
Yeah, I didn't. So I actually right now I'm on KDE, so
Yeah.
I've actually got my OBS running through XWayland, so I can make use of KDE's global shortcut thing
Yeah.
until that finally gets dealt with at some point in the future. So my browser docs work great, but
Yeah, but we reserve the right to say no to your bug report
sure,
because you're
yeah.
running XWayland. Yeah, it's if you're conscious of the of the decisions, no problem.
Mhm.
It's, the four freedoms of the free software is there.
Mhm. Well, if I did have some sort of bug, I would just test it on the Wayland version first to make sure there
Yeah.
actually is a bug there on the Wayland version. But yeah, that's totally
Yeah,
understandable.
it's really complicated. CF, the issue is that the actual API provided by CF is for what we used for the docs, not
Mhm.
for the sources. Sources are another code path.
Mhm.
We used IPs that are related to X11 and Xorg. So we use the X window handle and we insert it into a Q widget.
Mhm.
And so when you forced it to work on Wayland on the Wayland backend, since it's X11 handle inside the Wayland window, what do you want to happen? Nothing. So if you have nice transparent windows,
Right.
and
Right.
so you need to create the wall plumbering for Wayland stuff to be done on CF to allow to access Wayland descenders and surfaces,
Mhm.
and you need and moreover you need the Wayland compositor to have the oh god, I always forgot the name of the protocol. Wait check.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, wait check. XDG for rain protocol to be able to import and export Wayland handlers.
Mm. Right, right, right.
And you need so many stars aligned, and you need someone who wants to maintain and upstream the CEF plumbering for Wayland.
Mhm.
Even Steam is still using XWayland.
Yep.
Their whole application is inside the CEF. So
Well, Steam's another application that has a sandboxing issue because they run their games in little sandboxes as well. So if you're launching the flatpak, there's like that whole issue as well. And I think that's part of the reason.
yeah,
At least that's their original reason for not wanting to officially support the flatpak. I don't know, like now, if they could properly do workarounds with that.
uh, the the issue is that there is so many holes to keep as it is,
Right.
and when you're doing a flatpak, you're sort of trying to remove those holes
Mm-hmm.
as far when you progress toward that.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the main issue, for example, one of the issue you can have with Steam is that when you're doing remote play with
Mm-hmm.
your Steam Link or another computer, you will have the XDG portal popping up.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to change room to pick the right screen and stuff like that. I don't know if it has changed since then, but you have stuff like that happening.
Mm-hmm.
So Steam may need to change some paradigm. I'm not up to date on the situation because I'm don't use multiple computers.
Right.
Only my main one, so I play on only one computer. But yeah, Wayland support is a long journey, and I think the CF will be the longest one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just opened up the issue for the transparent browser docs, and I'm guessing right now it's basically just something needs to be done in upstream CEF before anything can really be done in the OBS
Yeah,
project.
yeah. I can talk about it since it's in public conversation. There
Okay.
is someone that arrived in the Discord and just dive into the CF code and current code to make off-screen sharing works with the newest renderer inside of Chrome. Because we were using old CF build because we were relying on Viz, V-I-Z. I think it was the name of the renderer. And now we need to rely on Skia.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is why we are stuck on, I don't remember the number of Chromium, but it's old already. And the guy literally upstream patched to Chromium. And so now there is a PR for CF to add off-screen rendering for Windows and macOS. Linux is not far beyond, because someone's working parallel with him to make it happen too, because Linux is the only one of the three to not have the browser acceleration.
Right.
But people say Linux is behind. When we talk about Chromium and CF, you need someone who wants to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not everybody's pleasure to dive into Chromium's code.
Yeah, I certainly would want to do that.
And CF patches, because CF patches Chromium with, and also there is the Google loves creating their own build systems, so you have to learn to use the GN build system. And also you need to compile Chromium and CF. You need to have a nice CPU with nice mini cores.
Unless you want to do some cloud rendering, that's also an option.
Yeah. Oh, it's not a good idea for development.
It's not, but hey, it's an option.
Yeah, yeah, but now we might soon be able to upgrade CF in OBS.
Mm-hmm.
But it's soon TM. Yeah, it's the most vocal ones, but people need to understand that we can do things fast sometimes.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like just it sounds like a nightmare in some ways to deal with everything going on with OBS, because there are so many moving pieces. You have this CEF thing you have to worry about. Then now we do this whole Wayland thing. You have Pipewire and portals to worry about, and there's all of these.
Wayland is problematic only on the Qt side of things.
Okay.
Nowadays, because portals is here to create an agnostic API. So when you're using portals, you have no need to care about X11 or Wayland, except when you want to give a window handler. Where Qt is really a pain. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about Qt, but
please go ahead.
Qt, yeah. I'm gonna make a parallel with GTK, fortunately, because it's the two biggest UI toolkit on Linux. You have GTK that say all our APIs in GTK are cross-platform. So GTK functions in Windows, macOS, and Linux are the same. But we have backends named GDK. In GTK, you have a backend for X11, a backend for Wayland, a backend for macOS, a backend for Windows. And there is not much abstraction. So if you're using a GDK function, you need to guard it for being used on the right platform. Qt has nothing like that, and only have unstable APIs. So each time you upgrade Qt, you can break the API of the private headers can change. So we can't export a Wayland handle. And so when you're using the screen share on OBS, the window to choose your monitor or your window will appear, but it will not be linked to OBS, so you will not be forced to touch the screencast window before being able to use another window. There is no modal between the two windows. And this is the biggest issue of Qt with docking. Docking is also a fun one because there is, I think it's XDG top level drag that got recently merged.
Yes,
upstream
yes.
in
I
Wayland.
talk about that one, yes.
Yeah, I always have a problem to remember the name of the protocol, but I was there since I was looking at it since the creation of the previous one, extended drag protocol.
Yes. That was the this top level drag protocol. For anyone who doesn't remember, that was the main thing it was being advertised about was with Chrome, because it was coming from the Chrome project. They wanted to be able to drag a tab out of a browser and then have that tab actually be attached to the cursor. That was the main thing that they were pushing for, but it did have a bunch of other implications as well.
Yeah, and it got merged, but now we are all waiting for a Wayland protocol release. And then we could ask GNOME, is there any plan to implement it, etc., etc. Even they GNOME acted, so there's nothing to complain too much. Because many people complain, oh, GNOME is not going to implement X, Y did from the Wayland protocols.
GNOME has act things before and then never implemented it.
Yeah, but
there is the whole VR situation.
You can talk to it a little with me, but I don't dive into much enough. And like I said, Qt provides unstable APIs, and GTK provides GTK, but GTK is a stable API. So when you're using GTK, you can use all the things that the headers provides, and Qt, if you want to do feature complete, you need you're on the minefield. And this was the main complaint I given to, I think it was, because literally a KD dev jumped on my throat when I said Qt is, but because it literally said it's because you don't, when something says something bad about my projects, I will not take it the right way.
Right.
Yeah, so it was the same thing, but we didn't. We just discussed and say yes. I said GTK is stable. Qt is not stable. It's not helping OBS to be able to improve features. And the main issue is not KDE's devs. The main issue is Qt that want to create abstractions at levels you can't. Because you can't have a function handle function that works for Wayland and for X, because there is differences between the two handles by design. It's a complicated subject, but and to come back to the XG drag protocol, actually, if you're using KWin6, you might have working docs with Qt applications with the Wayland backend, because Qt and KWin used the Qt namespace protocol variant of the XDG drag protocol. And this is where the fun part is that it works on KDE Plasma, but not GNOME. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
KDE is using it's using a namespace protocol, and it's not the right one technically. And people and use Lambda users will not understand that, and so they don't care. It works on A, it doesn't work on B, but the issue is KDE devs have reasons to use the namespace protocol because there was the Qt 6.6 deadline. They needed to have the new docs code inside the Qt's source tree, so it was understandable. understandable. But I'm a little sad that it had to happen because it creates discrepancies between. I wish that the QTXD. It's just the main point is Wayland protocols are a slow process, and some people deal with it a little wrong. But we can't. I can fight against it because they have good reasons to do it their way. The Qt namespace one was needed to make it upstream, so it's almost a rant for nothing. But it's complicated.
So, okay, I'll ask you this then: if you were the BDFL of Wayland and you had the ultimate say on on how everything was done, how would you want it handled?
I think none of the peers should be left alone for months without a new message. There needs to have activities because there is so many. Because the extended drag protocol got left in the dust mostly, and the creator of this PR was glad that the KD dev, sorry I forgot your name, I'm sure, and took it over, simplified it, removed the sum, and used only the necessary stuff to make docs and Chromium tabs work on Wayland the best way. And
before you go on, sorry. I think the name you're thinking of was David Redondo.
Yeah, David Redondo. Yeah.
Okay.
And there was activities. If you were subscribed to the PR, you were getting messages. There is maybe sometimes 1 month without messages, but it was getting active. When you check out the session management PR, there is not much activity. And I think the issue is that everyone in the Wayland, everyone there is busy at something else.
Right.
And this is not. Is there a way to make it better? Maybe. Is there all their fault that it's as bad? Maybe not. It's hard to keep up with activities because, as an example, due to clear lack of communications, I don't know. Now there is a waging war about how we should implement DRM leasing. You wanted me to talk about the leader?
Oh, I hate it. It's such a it's such a wild situation.
The core. It's simple. Is should we create an API that is agnostic toward Wayland X11, or we should implement a Wayland only API, and there is no going back.
Right.
I think this is why GNOME still didn't have implemented yet, because once they do it, even if it's temporary, there is no going back. There is no temporary solution. If you implement it, it's going to be used forever.
Right.
And I don't take side. I really would prefer a agnostic one, so developers don't have to develop for two things at the same time, one for X11 and one for Wayland. But it's up to the ecosystem to. It's not my fight because I don't use VR stuff.
Right.
But yes, it's DRM looks from far at the crusade between people, more like a crusade or something else. Because as an example, I return to Qt, but for example, OBS to function completely, we still lack the session management protocol. Because I remember someone one day come to the Discord and ask why docs behave like this under Wayland. It was a while ago, but I said, because Wayland was lacking this and this. we can't do this and this.
Mhm.
And you even if it's not workaround messages, you knew you disappointed someone.
Yeah.
But
Session management, for anyone who doesn't know, is for restoring windows to their previously open states. So if you have your browser docs nicely placed around your desktop, you close OBS, you reopen it, they'd be placed in the exact same location again.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the
where
hope, at least.
actually is they are put all in the same place, which is the yeah. Wayland is a slow thing, but I think the yeah, en fait, the more I think about it the last time is that I think XWayland is a double-edged sword
Mhm.
because it gave a way to make all programs that work with X11 to work under Wayland,
Mhm.
but also give us some sort of a comfort zone, not pushing devs to create alternatives if there was no XWayland.
Right.
Because now not many people think about, because since some user may run all the apps under XWayland without knowing, because it's up to the developers to make these decisions. OBS made the decisions to force the Wayland backend because we don't support XWayland.
Mhm.
And the issue is that I think it can slow down the Wayland progress
Mhm.
when it comes to protocols, because nobody's trying to fill the gaps, since XWayland, between quotes, somehow fill the gaps.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's a big complex machine, and it's still another long journey to make it right or make it better.
Yeah, I think the Wayland obviously is getting it's getting a lot better, right? Like we are in a much better state even than just go look at like 2020 for example. A lot of the issues that were present then, a lot of the missing protocols have been addressed since that point.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely right. It is a slow process, and one of the things that I've said a bunch of times is what really slows it down is the fact there isn't like a central voice of the project. Like you don't have a Wayland BDFL. So when something
Yeah.
is going to get done, you're going to have the GNOME devs talking about it, the KDE devs talking about it, the W Roots devs talking about it, and all of them are going to have different things they want to do, and sometimes they align. Other
You
times they
forgot you forgot the Western one.
Oh, sorry, the Western devs as well. Also, there's gonna be
Yeah. Yeah,
there's gonna be
Western is mainly for Western is more in the point of view of cars and stuff, automobile.
right.
So yeah, because in case people forgot, Wayland is not only for desktops.
Yes. And I guess I I don't think they're officially involved yet, but I would imagine that the System 76 guys will get involved with Smithy as well, because once they have their desktop actually shipping, it wouldn't make any sense if they didn't get involved, because they are another base of the project.
You might need to check the governance paper, but I think it just need to be straight enough
Mhm.
to have a seat in the governance.
Mhm.
But I think the process is simple, but
Yeah, it's just they're not shipping anything yet, so I don't
yeah.
think they've done anything. But that's going to be
Yeah,
another seat at the table then. So there's another voice that has another direction they want to go in.
yeah, I don't know if it will helps or not. I think the main problem is the lack of activity on some peers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because being a slow process is not a problem,
Mm.
but it becomes a problem if the reason behind the slow process is the lack of activity.
Right.
When lack means months is.
Right. At least if you have a like my favorite one that as of late is the whole Windows being able to position themselves, how there's like 4 different protocols with hundreds of comments each. At least in that case, people are trying to address the problem. Nobody agrees on
Yeah.
how to address the problem, but at least people are talking about it. When no one's talking about it, nothing's going to get solved.
Yeah. Yeah, and technically, XWayland had hidden this problem
Right.
until now.
Yeah.
And this is Matthias Klump, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
yes, yes.
That bring up the problem and finally began all the spread of peers closing and opening. I lost count.
I think we're at 3 right now.
3. I
That
think
sounds
we're at
right.
4.
Maybe
Or
4.
maybe I counting the icon 1 in the.
Right, there's the icon one as well. That one's even crazier. Like, the fact that there is all of those comments arguing over how icons should be handled is, like, I get it, right? Because if you
Yeah.
implement a protocol, that protocol is going to be relied on and you're never going to be able to change it. But
Yeah.
it is just wild to me that there is that
And
much discussion about it.
the issue is that if it's a ext protocol,
Mm-hmm.
you lost at the start of the sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Because once it's in the ext namespace, there is between code no obligation to you have a low chance to have it implemented everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's xdg1, no, gnomes might implement it, plasma might implement it. I don't say Bungie because they're mostly meter based, but most of the double roots might implement it. Double roots will implement it because there is so many namespace protocols in that side. In case people don't understand namespace protocols, it's protocols that are not part of the Wayland protocols, and they have their own namespace. Examples Qt or WLR for double roots. Yeah. And yeah, it's a slow process.
Yeah.
But I think I just wish that there is no bad face happening sometimes, because when you're the someone that have bad face, you can have it would not go right. because I read the PR, but I can't. I get the problem, and when you go to the sandbox territory, you say, "Oh, can I trust this? How can I?" The main question I think is security about the image of the icon. And yes, there is many questions to ask and answer. And this is why two spears needs activity, because we need to ask questions and to have answers to them, because otherwise how can we forge a protocol that will be good for the long term?
Absolutely.
Because it's hard. Yeah, because X11 is the thing they don't want to remake.
Right.
And this is why Wayland is a slow process. But everyone's in the Wayland stuff is busy at something else. Yeah, they're busy. If you ask them, I'm sure they all say they're busy to do something else.
For sure. Yeah. Like,
it's like for me, I didn't I'm not going to plan to propose a protocol to Wayland. Because one, I'm pretty bad at writing stuff, and I already had enough pain with OBS RFCs.
I'm very happy that the people who are involved, because there's so few people who actually want to do that. And like, it's not it's easy enough to propose a protocol, but actually deal with that back and forth and try to improve upon it, try to step away from your specific implementation and listen to what other people are saying about ways to improve it. Like, that is, it takes a lot of time to do, and like, it makes, like, I know, like, it's annoying that sometimes a protocol takes 3 years to get implemented, but like, that's what has to be done when, like, really, Wayland is very much like a design by committee. People say things like, oh, how has it taken 15 years and we've only gotten this far? Like, in the case of X11, the original specification was made by a bunch of nerds at MIT. Like, it wasn't this big design by committee. It was like a handful of people that
Yeah.
had a goal. And then over the next 30 years, things were bolted onto the protocol. Like, things like XRander, for example, that's a really recent addition in the history of X11. Like, it took X11 a long time to get to the state it's in today, and it's gonna take Wayland a long time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, and fortunately, Wayland is not the only thing that needs to be improved.
Mm-hmm.
There is the audio stack and the video stack that needs to evolve further.
Yep. I'm surprised, like, that with Pipewire, I'm surprised like how quickly that got adopted, because I remember that came out, and then when it hit like one of its early releases, like, it kind of just became the default that everyone just was like, oh, okay, I guess we're just gonna use it.
Yeah, I can what I can do at what's his name? I forgot. The I forgot the naming of the patch baying. Yeah, patch bay.
Yeah.
I can do patch bay without having to use Perl Studio and Jack at the same time.
Yep. It's awesome.
Let's go. Yeah, I think Pipewire, I use it since O2. When O2 hit Arch Linux, I was on it. Because I have needs to do patch baying for some project, for some stuff, and it allows me to not have the hassle to manage Perl Studio and Jack together, because it's a hassle. Because if I'm not correctly, it's literally you asking Jack to have a Perl Studio device, and Perl Studio needs to provide sound to this device. Where just Pipewire, you start Pipewire, you install Pipewire Pulse, you install Pipewire Jack, you make sure that Pipewire Jack is the default Jack library to be loaded, and you're done.
Yep. And that's just the audio side. Like, I already find if Pipewire was just the audio stuff, that by itself would already be useful.
No,
I remember the
Pipewire is video first.
Yeah. So the reason why I originally fell in love with patch bays, so my the way I play console games is I have everything just running through my capture card all the time because I don't want to unplug it.
You're redirecting to your headset.
So what I did before Pipewire is I would open OBS and listen to the loopback audio from OBS, like the monitoring audio from OBS. So it was like there was a delay. It was not good.
Oh, but Perl Studio plus OBS monitoring, it's a latency killer.
Yup. And then Pipewire came out, and now what I do is I take the audio from my capture card and just direct it to my speakers. That's all.
Yeah, done. And you're done. And there was also the word transition from the default implementation of the Pipewire session that was never meant to be used. Pipewire media session to Wire Plumber. Seriously, being able to hide my useless audio devices from my graphics card was a blessing.
Yup. I completely forgot that my GPU had
Wire Plumber
audio devices.
Yeah.
And then I can also rename my devices. So if the manufacturer is like, oh, I'm gonna give this like a 50-character long name, like, no, microphone. That's all.
Meaningless. No, not long. Meaningless.
Meaningless.
No relation with what the device is.
Yeah.
You can find that it's horrible because they just expect you to use their Windows driver or macOS driver.
Yeah, it's annoying. But Pipewire and Wire Plumber, solves everything. And then you grab whatever patch bay you like. I use QPW graph. I know there's another one that people like. I'm blanking on the name of it.
Helvum?
That one, yes, Helvum.
Yeah. Yeah, Helvum is just for quick patch being.
Mhm.
Because you have nothing to set, there is no automatism. It's really manual.
Mhm.
I use Helvum to just watch
Right.
if I have, because I'm actually working on the because since Pipewire video stack is becoming more and more mature, there is now I'm working on the app to app screen sharing. And I need to look if I will soon need, because I began to dive into the paper API to see if the node exists or not.
Right. For anyone who just doesn't know anything about the app-to-app media sharing, give people like a brief explanation of that.
Since do I need to explain the concept of portals first, or can I just run away
It
with
probably
it?
would help, just like a basic explanation.
So when Wayland was introduced, another project and flatpak and the concern of security and sandboxing arrived through the table. Something was created named XDG desktop portals. We sometimes name it XDP or portals in general. And tools are mainly meant to provide display server agnostic or desktop Ethernet agnostic or window compositor agnostic APIs to applications. So as an example with OBS, if OBS wants if you want to share your monitor or your window, OBS has just to interact with the screencast portal, which is provided by the desktop environment or the window compositor. Because it's for some there is portals that require a backend implementation. In the case of screencast, the desktop session should show a window where you choose your monitor and you click I want to share this monitor, and then OBS gets the Pipewire node to be able to share it. Yeah, I said should because, as an example, the wroots variant of the screencast portal just send the monitor, period. But the XDG screencast portals, you have the camera portals for sharing the camera. You have the global shortcut which is the only way to have global hotkeys on Wayland. The TLDR, about if you want me to talk about it later, you can, about the global shortcuts and OBS.
I
can talk
definitely want to
about
get
it
into
earlier.
that as well, for sure. Yeah.
I can talk about it later.
Right now,
Yeah,
everyone that has working global shortcuts. Sorry.
I'm gonna focus on screencast.
Yeah.
And when you can test portals with applications like Doorknocker, which is made by me, and SHPD demo to test the portal itself. SHPD demo. SHPD stands for Aperture Science handheld portal device.
Sorry, what was it called? I've not heard of this one.
ASHPD demo.
ASHPD.
There is some. We implemented lib portals to have easy C API. And there is someone who made the Rust API to access easily portals in Rust. He created a demo applications, which is named SHPD. SHPD, the name is literally a joke with Portal 2. And the portal gun.
I didn't know this existed. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah. We are trying to there is people who wants to improve the desktop portal documentation by coaching my apps, Doorknocker and HSPD demo, because you can test portals through HSPD demo. And when you want to screencast, you have switches. Do you want to screencast monitors and or Windows and or virtual devices, virtual stuff? You can choose the three of them. You can choose only one of them. Actually, OBS, you have screen capture and window capture. technically we could unify them as one sources. And then you have a window that will pop up or not if you are using a really simplish implementation that only have one source, like WR. It was you or it was me? I got a notification, I think. Sorry.
Oh, no, that was your side then, yeah. Mine are always muted.
Yeah. And sorry, I need now the notification distracting me. Well, you can choose between monitor, Windows, and virtual devices. And when you Windows pop up and you choose, and you choose what you want to share. Nowadays on Windows and Mac OS, you have software components like Spout or Siphon that are used to easily share. Usually it's OpenGL texture and sometimes and behind the scene a DirectX or Metal texture to another app with the least latency possible. And I try to create the same thing, but with Pipewire portals and DMA buff. DMA buff, that is the ability to share graphics stuff. I will not go deep to the what's behind it, but it allows you to do the same stuff as Spout and Siphon on Linux, but adding it Pipewire and portals to the stack will simplify the use of it. And so when my plan is when you open this window to choose monitor, Windows or virtual stuff, if you have selected virtual stuff, if application says, I can share this stuff, it will be shown on the window. And so applications like, I don't have many in my mind. Usually the only example that comes to my mind from a pure desktop thing is Inochi 2D, which is Inochi 2D Session, the VTuber puppeteer software. And the ability to share the rendering of the VTuber with the least latency directly to OBS would be a great thing. Actually, Inochi 2D already does that with Spout on Windows. And also, I imagine you did a video about these GitHub discussions, because for now it's just a GitHub discussions. I'm talking about Gamescop that wants to do weird stuff. Yeah, when I saw the P on OBS side, I say, "Oh, yikes!"
It didn't seem like anyone was.
I don't say I don't say yikes because the feature is bad. I'd say yikes. It's a hole keeper.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was much positivity from the OBS side to do it, because it was like, from my understanding, it would have been adding a specific capture for game scope.
And from my point of view, it would be forcing us to keep the Pipewire socket access.
Right.
Permissions, where in the long term we should get rid of it. But we need portals. We need audio portals. We need improvements. And so I try to make this app to app sharing. The naming is completely unstable. As an example, Georgie's named it in the GitHub's project on XDG Desktop Portals. He named it P2P media sharing.
Okay.
I understand what it means, but it's so confusing for some kind of people. Right. If you understand what I mean. Because it means peer-to-peer, but not in the current sense.
Right.
So I came out with app to app just to make it simple. And this screencast is actually video only. And the questions of adding audio comes into the table too. There is discussions about adding audio.
Mhm.
But the issue is, from what I saw from Pipewire, I didn't dive enough into that. But the issue is that actually we are between Pipewire and Impulse Studio for audio APIs. And portals should use only one, which is Pipewire. XDG desktop portals depends on Pipewire. And when you want to share a window application, it's complicated to share the audio sometimes, because sometimes you have Chromium that generates thousands of audio sources.
Yeah.
And the issue is that when you have Electron apps and CF-based apps, they're all named Chromium. Nice job, Chromium.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. When I used an application named Tangram, which is a WebKit GTK-based application to have a window browsers kept like Freddy or applications like that. And when I have multiple audio stuff, I always see multiple Tangram audio sources. But it's a pain when one application generates multiple things, or it's not things, it's sources. I don't know how to name correctly. I don't have the naming scheme for just stuff right now. But yeah, there is many discussions. There is if people follow closely what's going on with GNOME and the Sovereign Tech Fund, they should see that there is some work there is some push to work on portals and USB devices with USB devices. But one important point I should say it sooner is that XDG portals, the XDG desktop portals, has a few maintainers. Really less than you can count them in one hand, technically. And so it's not easy because like Wayland protocols, everyone is busy to do something else. So it's XDG portals falls into the slow process thing. But it's not it's going forward. We're trying, because portals tries to be long-term wise. So we're not going, so they don't want to add stuff that we no temporary workaround if possible.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, and the world, and I don't know if you take a look at the situation that happened recently with XDG desktop portal 118.
118.
118 is that every wroots compositor based user complained that portals no longer stop working because 118 changed how configs works.
Wait, 118 on which repo? Sorry.
XDG desktop portals.
118 is an email portal issue from 2017. Did you tell me to say the wrong number?
No, 118.
18. Am I stupid? Did I go to the wrong place?
You're on flatpak / XDG portal, XDG desktop portal.
Yeah. One. Wait. I might be dumb. Could you just send me the link to it?
I send you the link to the releases. But there is a 118. Maybe I'm mispronouncing it because I know sometimes I pronounce things the wrong way.
Oh, release. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said issue 118. Okay.
No. Versions 118.
No, I am stupid. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Rather than now, we don't check there is a change of paradigm of how portals are loaded. Portal implementations are loaded. So every compositor or desktop should provide a config file. but the issue is that some Wayland, I think the Sway developer is against it, and so it's unfortunately a pain on the OBS support to have to, because it's a complicated process to explain. Oh, you need to add a new config file. You need to do that, and that.
Right.
Where HyperLand did, I think HyperLand is actually the most appreciated double root-based compositor in the OBS support. Because you don't need to have a fucking config file to be made. Because you know that HyperLand did all the things right to make it work right. Even sometimes us OBS were a little did stupid assumptions, and so that sometimes a Pipewire capture bug was HyperLand's fault and not us. The issue was that in the RGB color space of the stream, the R and the B were swapped.
Okay.
In the code, we forgot. I say we, but I didn't. I not really. We forgot to swap the two planes. But the issue is that. But I think at the end, someone said, "Oh, it's really our fault. It's already OBS side issue. We fixed it. Now everything is fine." But it was a little dumb from us, I think. but the issue is that we were in the middle of. We were not used to add the wall XDG portals diagnostic in our issues. You need to enter UI. Oh, this implementation has problems. This implementation has no problems. As example, when someone comes to the support and say, "Okay, you need GTK, you need WLR, you need the right implementations." I don't know if HyperLens somehow ask for GTK, the GTK variant to be installed. I don't know.
It is mentioned on the wiki, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, because for those who don't know, the GTK backend propose some default stuff like the file chooser, some stuff that are desktop agnostic, to not force people to reinvent the wheel if they don't want to have a certain UI toolkit being used.
Does it mention it? I feel like it did. Maybe
the default config file on the portal side show GTK, but
on the wiki for Hyperland it does mention to install the GTK.
So since XDG portals 1.18, you need a new config file. So normally, from my point of view, Compositor users should be used to add more config files. I'm not a user. A long time ago I was a Spectrum user, but because I really need to get rid of my bad habit to have hundreds of windows for nothing. And yes, it works, but one long 40 got out and decided that tiling was not my stuff. I switched to GNOME 40. But I think my point of view on Tools Compositors is that if you don't support portals, you're not helping us at all. You're not helping us. I know it's hard to create your own implementation each time you create, but it's really not helping us to have to do the job have to explain how to configure your portals to make it work everywhere.
Right. I think that what you mentioned Hyperland in there. The one issue I do have with Hyperland is the portal is a little bit flaky.
I didn't check if it was working perfectly, but I think he's the only one actually making a specific implementation for his WR compositor.
Yeah, that I do appreciate because the
With Hyperland you have window capture and this is
you do, yes.
good.
I know that the WL Roots has had a window capture issue open for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's some progress being made on it, but Hyperland is the only WL Roots based compositor that supports window capture.
Yeah.
The problem is the portal. I have had multiple issues that I've been going back. I had been going back and forth with Vax3. Multiple issues that led to the desktop seg faulting, which is a problem.
The workstation was dying. Oh god.
The thing is, it was consistent. So there was at least
reproducible. So nice.
At least on my system. He couldn't reproduce it himself, so which was fun.
Oh, nice.
We did this whole thing. He wanted me to go set up ASAN to like do memory dig into the memory. The problem is OBS does not like opening with it, because not many things like opening with ASAN.
Yeah, I don't know if it's me, but yeah, sometimes I have a hard time to load OBS into stuff for deeper debugging. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope at some point WL Roots does sort out the window capture issue, because I would like to use some of the other WL Roots based compositors, but I need window capture to work. Like when I do these podcasts, I have one of my overlays has a capture of my browser, and I window capture that. If I cannot window capture, I cannot use the compositor.
Yeah, this is why I said Hyperland is good, because it provides exactly what people just needs. It is the window capture.
Yeah.
It's maybe buggy, but Vax3 is alone on that, right?
Yeah. Well, Vaxer is dealing with stuff. I don't know what's happening with the Arch package for Hyperland, because it's been in testing for like 3 weeks now. I don't know why they haven't moved it. I'm not sure. I don't have any insight with that, but
I don't know. Maybe they finally swapped to vendor W roots. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you need to check the GitLabs what they did to their package build.
Yeah, I probably should do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we go way off down that direction, you mentioned the global shortcuts portal.
Yeah.
So right now, global shortcuts with OBS is very, very
non-existent on Wayland.
On the Wayland version, it's very weird, right? Because different compositors will implement like solution hack workarounds. So Hyperland has their fun solution, which is basically let applications snoop in on certain keys.
Yeah.
Then
you used WebSocket at some point.
Right, of course, the WebSocket's also an option, but that's circumventing the issue completely and just binding to WebSocket calls, which also works for sure. And then KDE, they have their legacy X11 app support, which if you run an application through XWayland, it'll then let those applications snoop in on keys.
I don't remember if GNOME allows by default if XWayland window can access the whole keyboard. I think KDE just added more security where they wanted to for this switch. The issue is that sorry, I'm gonna search a word. No, not English, Spanish. Yeah. Well, on X11 keyboard strokes and mouse movement were literally a self-serve buffet for applications.
Yeah, you can write a X11 keylogger in one line of Python.
Yeah, every app is a potential keylogger.
Yeah.
On X11. And on Wayland, they of course, by security, they didn't let this happen again. And only focus windows, besides XWayland stuff, only the focus window and the compositor / the desktop environment have get interactions with the keyboard. And the point of the global shortcut is to say to the compositor, hey, I would like to allow my user to set hotkeys to trigger these features. But it's when it comes to OBS, in OBS, when you set up your hotkeys, it's inside the OBS user interface, inside the settings. The issue is that the paradigm is completely different under Wayland and global shortcuts. Portal is your keys are when we can say that OBS is using internal hotkey resolution, hotkey settings. When it comes to portals, the application needs to accept that hotkeys are not managed by the application itself. It's managed by the compositor. So it's mainly, it's mostly the application. I have all of these callbacks, and when the user set up its keys, it triggers these callbacks. And when I say callbacks, is trigger this function, trigger the start stop. And the issue is that OBS is not designed with this way in mind. It's only designed to have this. It's the same in Windows. macOS, I didn't dig around, but apparently, if you ask permissions, you can do whatever you want at the end. Where Linux is really more restrictive. I still didn't find an application using the global shortcut portal. I'm still searching for one.
Yeah, I was really excited when the portal was implemented, but
GNOME is not even does not even have it implemented.
Jeez.
Not on the last this week on GNOME, it was noted that someone was on it, was beginning to work on it. They just needs people for doing this. It's like the variable refresh rate. They have someone, they fix all the bugs. Now we can do tearing. Can someone do tearing? It's
like
it's complicated. And so the word hotkeys, and so you need to change how OBS works internally. You need to, from what I saw consider in my mind, is that you need to make OBS able to have the two paradigms: internal hotkey settings and externals. External management, internal management, external management of hotkeys. The other issue is that when you're it is how the portal works. The portals is not dynamic. Once you create a session, you're creating a session with a fixed amount of hotkeys.
Right.
OBS is more dynamic. Each time you created a source, each time you remove a source, each time you're dealing with plugins, filters, etc., you're adding hotkeys or you're removing hotkeys. But you're not limited to one session, so you can create dozens of sessions of global shortcut. But you need to implement everything, and this is not an easy task. You need to create the UI UX, because no, OBS is not gonna spam you with dozens of global shortcuts prompts. So you need to create a flow that allows you to say, oh, okay, these plugins, I would like to have the hotkeys on it, enables the session on it. And then you have and most of the portals, screencast, I think remote session has it too. and the global shortcut have session restorations. And I'm not saying that's on the screencast case that restorations works well. It just depends if you're lucky that the Windows name match the name that was saved. It's per implementations, the restoration. And so you really need to adapt OBS on it. And it's not easy task. It's not. And some people could say I could work on it since I can say all those things and say, oh, we should do that. But I can't because my dev environment can't allow me to work on global shortcuts. And I'm not in a hurry because I'm sorry, I don't use shortcuts, hotkeys. I need to learn to use more my keyboard rather than just the mouse. This is why I take the hard path of using vMotions.
Right.
vMotions on some stuff, but
well, just on this layout, which is I have like the least number of hotkeys configured. I have 6 of them, and like you couldn't do it the way that screen capture is being handled. For example, you couldn't just open up 6 different windows, being like, configure this key and configure this key and configure this key. Like some of my layouts, I've got like 20 different hotkeys configured. Like how you conveniently do that and have an interface that makes sense.
Oh, you mean to set up all the hotkeys? Yeah, I just happened to forgot to say that since the hotkeys are externally managed, the settings are inside the desktop session settings.
Right.
So in the KDE, because they are the only ones to have it implemented so far, I don't know if Rax3 did it or not, because I think he was waiting for consumer to come up first. Is that there is somewhere like I said, I'm searching for an application. I use the global shortcut portal to see what happens. And normally
does that demo application support the portal?
No, because the developer of SHSPD is GNOME devs.
Right.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's maybe I don't know if he implemented global shortcuts inside SHSPD. Maybe the application is not showing to me the global shortcut because I don't have it enabled. I don't have a global shortcuts. And normally you have a whole settings page to hotkeys. But how it's shown, how it's managed, it's up to the desktop environment. The XDG desktop portals as beside the two debus debus interface definitions. There is not much forcing users. It needs to work like that, but the UI do whatever you like. So GNOME's is going to need to mockups global shortcuts too. And yes, I think the main issue with OBS would be the amount of hotkeys.
Right.
To be shown. I think grouping hotkeys will need to be think about in the. But it's the change in paradigm is really big. It takes time. It's like our flatpaks has many holes in the sandbox, and we don't plan to make them forever. We have a hole for v4LTU as an example, and once I'm done with the app to app. I forgot to mention it for app to app screen sharing. There is the virtual cam part too.
Yes.
Yes. And once OBS can replace every v4L2 features with a Pipewire one, we can just deprecate v4L2, I guess.
That'll be nice. I really don't like v4L2.
Yeah. Oh, OBS has the ALSA input source. but we don't provide it into Flatpak because ALSA is not accessible from the sandbox.
Right. I didn't realize that was even a thing it could do. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, because you only see it on the Arch Linux package.
Right. Yeah.
You only see it on native packages, unofficial packages, and the PPA.
Mhm.
I think people who are Pipewire users are mainly using either the Pulsodio one or the Jack one.
Mhm.
And the app-to-app sharing is trying to fix some what is lacking for some features to be replaced.
Mhm.
And global shortcuts, it's again a long journey, but I think it's like the camera portals. Until now, there was zero consumer of the the camera portal. And this year, Firefox, we added as experimental OBS. We now have our actual OBS 30.1 beta has it as a beta.
Yeah, that's the real challenge with trying to implement anything like this. Like, you need
Consumers.
somebody who actually wants to use it, because it's all well and good to make the solution, but if the solution is just not in use, like, you can't really go much further with that.
Yeah. I think it.
I really
I
hope
always
that
forgot.
I hope
I
every
always forgot the
application.
wording.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's Georges and me were discussing on the chat about Flatpaks and portals,
Mhm.
and he said to me that we can add we can we are kind of the beta testers of those APIs and their consumer and to make them consumed by users.
Mhm.
I don't have the exact wording, so and sometimes things explode, sometimes things works.
Mhm.
But as an example, actually the Pipewire portals, camera portals,
Mhm.
implementation in OBS only support one format of camera. I think it's NV12.
Okay.
I think, or it's YUV. I don't remember. Because you need format conversions,
Mhm.
and since we needed to add consumer, we only support one format, and progressively more format will be added.
Mhm.
But it's a long journey. It's always a long journey.
Mhm.
But yeah, like me trying to add app-to-app stuff, and it's portals are trying their best. And just in case, even if the XDG desktop portals are between quotes under the Flatpak organizations, they're not only for Flatpaks.
Mhm. I think at the end of the day, like,
Yeah.
we are making progress, but
Yeah.
you know, as you said before, people have other things they are working on. This isn't
Yeah.
like their primary project, so everything is going to move slowly. But we are moving slowly in a positive direction, and eventually things are going to be better. It's just a lot of people want things to be done now, and it's really hard to see, especially if you're not getting involved in these repos, if you're not at least like reading up on what's going on. It's really easy to think that nothing is happening, that people are just sitting around. It's like, oh, well,
No.
nothing's getting done. That's not exactly it.
No, it's literally there's few people, and we wish they do not burn out.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes that.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly, the people like.
I'm sorry if I may see sometimes.
No, it's all good. Honestly, like people like George Sarakis and like other people like him who do like tons and tons and tons of work. Like, the FOSS world would not function without people like this. Like, it's great that we have all of these other people who get involved and do little bits here and there, but having these people that do tons of work,
Yeah.
like, they are really the driving force behind everything.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do my best too, even if it's not easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also have. I don't know how. I don't think we mentioned this on the recording. You also have 72 AUR packages you maintain.
Yeah. I need to check. I need to check if they still build again.
How many of them do you actively maintain?
It's not for OBS plugins. That more. There is more than 50 of them OBS plugins that I packaged. But packaging is the wrong word. It's providing a recipe.
Sure.
Is that it's if they get an update and I saw it in the OBS forum in my OBS forum notification, and if I go to the OBS forum, so sometimes you can notify me on the AUR package to ask me to update. And I updated. As an example, I'm a little stuck with the event switcher update, and not because of the update. It's because I discovered some stuff that was not building inside the scene switcher plugin. I think it was built, but without some features, and now I'm trying to make them work. So for the plugins, it's day to day once I get the notification to update. But I recently fixed. I feel just for the I don't know. I just love this plugin. I just saved. Wait, I just give you the link.
Okay.
Oh god, I never remember the name of the repo. So let's go with.
Will he find it?
It's the stupidest plugin, but I do my best to keep it buildable.
Okay. Anyone just listening, this is a DVD screensaver plugin for OBS.
It's one C file, and so it's easily. Yeah. Technically, you can replace the logo.
Oh.
But yeah, I recently maintained it. It was one of my first AUR packages related to OBS, and because of how we changed, because with OBS 28 and progressively OBS recent versions, OBS 28. I said OBS 28, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, we changed how our build systems with CMake build system was written. And so it blocks how the when you're building with CMake or with Meson, you can add stuff like a package config file or a CMake package, and we broke the name. We broke the case sensitive. We fixed how the library name should be written. So I think before it was written libobs with uppercase L and uppercase O, which was really wrong. So we fixed it, but some plugins that don't update, like the DVD screensaver one, they didn't update their build system to work with the new ones, with the new name. So sometimes for this one, I completely rewritten the build system because it's a 1C file. So writing a build system for 1C file is easy.
Right.
Yeah, but when I have time, I think about it. I try to build the oldest updated and to CC build again. And if people notify me in the comments or saying it's up to date, I try to see it.
Mhm.
It's like sometimes I maintain packages. Most of my packages are really libob's dependencies.
Mhm.
As an example, you have what the name, the library, libaja NTV2.
Mhm.
This is literally the library to be able to build the AJ plugins inside of OBS. I made a package for it. We have lib data channel for the WebRTC features. Even if I'm using Nice for the ICE library, Arch Linux decided to take the original recipe, which was using multiple vendor-read libraries. Where I try to do the opposite. I try to my package build use the least vendor dependencies. Because normally you should be able to build lib data channel with external dependencies and not always the vendor ones. And this is work that has to be done on lib data channel because I did it. I helped making lib data channel able to work without having Git submodules. Because many distros would refuse to package lib data channel because of this fact.
Right. Yeah. Debian is a good example that is not super happy about it.
Yeah, in the actual situation, it was many Fedora packages lib data channel.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was there before Neil Gompa got there to fix lib data channel. There was other issues like the SO versions that was not right. He fixed that. But yeah, lib data channel needed to be improved to be better at being packaged. Because if you can package it, it's gonna be hard to spread the feature even in unofficial packages. I don't know which other dependencies I built. There is CF OBSs, CF minimal OBS bin. And the funniest part of this package is I receive many people complaining about, but my OBS Studio package doesn't work because it searched for CF OBS, CF minimal OBS without the dash bin. Yeah, I never answered to this message because I think the answer would be rude. Did you read the IRA wiki page? There is some IRA helper that tries to find, but normally a bin package provides the non-bin.
Right.
So in my OBS Studio packages, I should not add the dash bin inside of them. I should just ask the non-bin one, and the bin one provides the non-bin one. It just it's like I don't want to shame anyone, but I have in IWAR you have bin comments. And sometimes I receive message. I say, what does this package has more than the extra Arch Linux unofficial package? Did you read the comments? Did you read the pin comment? Did you read the description?
The answer is
no. Yeah. But I learned that before it happens that people don't read sometimes. So
sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes we in italic. It is. Yeah. But packaging, and actually, I was really bad at packaging, and now I try to follow more the guidelines because what's good with the with the Arch Linux wikis, it provides guidelines depending on the type of package. It is a CMake program. Here's how you should use CMake. As an example, Arch Linux, it doesn't want you to use the build type release or release with dep symbols. It wants you to use the type none, not because it release and release dep with dep or problematic, is that they want you to use the C flags and the C++ flags, build flags that they provide, and none allows to use those flags, where release would override. I think, as an example, Arch Linux, I think Arch Linux provides O2 optimizations, where in CMake release would force O3.
Right. I didn't realize they had different sections. I've seen like the Arch package guidelines for. I never actually scrolled down to the bottom. I didn't realize they had sections on each different thing.
No, it's the CMake. There is dozens of pages for dozens of build systems.
Oh, I see it now.
You're one for Go, you're one for Rust, you're one for Meson, you're one for CMake. It's like they actually recently changed the licensing system to make us use the SPDX notation, which is SPDX.
Yeah, found. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to give you the page with the.
Yeah, if you can find that, that would be awesome.
Or the identifiers.
Yep. Here we go.
And so rather than using the good old GPL2 that we're putting license now it's GPL-2.0-or later, which is more widespread than you think. As an example, applications meta-info use it to the identifiers. So really, it's just being, because when you write GPL2, you need to ask the question: is GPL2 only or later?
Right.
Because there are two variants of the GPL. And sometimes, normally by default, it's or later. But SPDX decided if you return without the or later or only mentions, consider it's only. So
well, that makes sense. Yeah, unless you specify or later, it probably should just be only.
Yeah, but if I may be bad at reading, but I remember that by default the or later mentions is in the. I always thought that or later was the default, but I think it's true. Yeah, but maybe it's because to avoid confusion or risk, just only.
Yeah. Logically, it would make sense that it's just only, but yeah, maybe it is different.
Also, coming back to the package build, there is something I do more than other AUR packages, because AUR rules, it's up to yourself to rebuild the packages you built. If you build the AUR packages and it breaks, rebuild it first just to check if it's not just because the dependency ABA break.
Yeah, I've definitely had that happen a couple of times.
And if you look at my OBS Studios package build, you can see that I force some rebuilds to happen with package which like a dash x264 equals versions equals. And because if OBS doesn't load some libraries, it explodes. And only people who are used to this kind of log can guess what's happening.
Yeah.
As an example, if OBS is unable to load OBS FFmpeg, he can't record.
That's a problem.
Because the record output in the OBS backend, record is the output. It's inside of OBS FFmpeg. And so if you don't load, and as an example, and sometimes it breaks, and so I try to help users to rebuild when it's needed. But sometimes you have API breaks you don't wish to see happening. I don't know if you have an OBS Studio package build opened.
Yes, I've got the
Do
Tytan652
you
one
see
open.
do you see the Qt var equals 662?
Yes.
This one should never ever happened, but Qt broke API between 661 and 662. Yeah. But it's not only Arch Linux that got the issue. OpenSUSE Tumbleweed had the issue. Guess which other package got the issue?
I'm not sure.
The flatpak. It's only the beta one, but the flatpak got the ABI break. So each time you were loading OBS with the latest KDE runtime, it was the error is simple. Is it's searching for a C++ symbol named zdebug qdoc widget. I don't have the full name. It's not meant to be learned. But we had to. The fix is simple: rebuild the package. But it's ABI promises is a thing, and it's not KDE's fault. I repeat, because sometimes I feel that people confuse Qt and KDEs. Qt broke API. I don't know if they fixed the bug or not, but it trickled down into OBS support. Oh no, it didn't trickle down to OBS support. It trickled down to OBS issues. and we got multiple issues. But the moment I saw the end of the log with the same error, failed to find symbol, I just say, ask your distributions to rebuild the package. But
that's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But issues and duplicated issues were a funnier one on the OBS Linux side. I need to refine it, but long story short, there is, for those who don't know, we have the video acceleration API for hardware encoding for hardware video encoding and decoding. And we have NVIDIA in its all might decided to create an alternative decoding API or participate to create one named VDPAU.
Yeah, okay.
And so there is 10 years ago and more, some people created a lib VAPI, functions with drivers. So as an example, Mesa provides drivers to work with AMD's video encoders. Intel provides it for its own Intels, and like we used to it, NVIDIA does not. But people tried to create a plugin that bridged the VA API to VDPAU. The main issue is that it's 10 years old. It's sometimes installed by default on some Arch-based distro. It makes OBS explodes. Why? Because OBS got in OBS 28.1, if I remember correctly. I need to find the issue. But there is multiple backend in VAPI drivers, but the VADPU is so old that it only has one backend. which is the X11 backend, obviously.
Right.
And so nowadays we have the DRM backend and the Wayland backend. OBS relies on the display diagnostic one, which is the DRM one, but the VDPAU driver does not have this backend. It's 10 years old, it's not developed anymore. And so it makes the driver crash. It makes OBS crash because it tries to load X11 symbols where it should not. In fact, we don't even have a X11 context where it needs to, so it crashed. And look, you can see, if I had to guess, without backtrace, and install this package. Yeah, and you can see all my OBS Studio packages on AUR have a conflict with this package to prevent user to install it side by side of OBS. But this bug is not triggered because the package is installed. It's triggered because you have an NVIDIA card and the package installed.
Right.
Or a VDPAU capable GPU, but it's mostly on NVIDIA's. But the fun part of this issue is that it's the one with the most duplicated issues. We're close to 10 duplicated issues.
Yeah, I'm seeing them all right now. Jesus Christ. Ah. Wait, am I seeing a trend here? Am I seeing a trend of the distro it's affecting?
No, Manjaro was the least problematic.
Okay. I like how you instantly realized which one I was talking about.
No. It's the least problematic, now because Manjaro is pretty common there, but the most problematic was the Garuda Linux one.
Okay.
Because they have a meta packages that if you have an NVIDIA card, or you ask for video acceleration, it install every VAPI driver. Right. And so to install libVAP, to install the VDPU driver, you need to remove some system packages when it comes to Garuda. I don't know if they fixed it, but it was quite problematic that they did that.
Yes.
But like I said on the issue, there is an alternative. Someone created the NVIDIA VAPI driver. But I guess one day maybe everyone will be running NVK, and someone will reverse engineering the NVENC encoder and made the VAPI driver.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we should probably end off the recording because we're like, it's like 2 hours and 7 minutes now.
I can go longer if you want.
Yeah, I'm sure you can, but I need to get to sleep at some point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe we should mention some stuff you wanted to mention quickly.
Let's see. I think we actually touched on most of it.
I think you didn't want to talk about the Doorknocker.
Oh yeah. Doorknocker. Yeah, I think we.
It's quick, so I think you can.
Yeah, if you want to talk a bit about Doorknocker, sure.
Doorknocker comes from. It's born from the same trouble. It's the trouble that many people portals were coming on the Linux desktop, and there was no way for the user to know if they had portals present or not. So Doorknocker just checks if the XDG portal desktop provides each portal interfaces. For example, in GNOME, it would not enable the global shortcuts one. Yeah, on FOSS, if you have the WR and the GTK portal GNOME keyrings installed, you would it's the last screenshots of FlatHub. There's many portal absence in the W roots stuff. It's just a tool to allow the user to quickly diagnostic if he has the portal or not.
Mhm.
And sometimes I only did it for the screencast portal for now. I need to focus to find time to do that for the portals. If you if you click on the screencast, you can have detailed, like, you can screencast monitor, you can screencast application windows, you can have cursors as metadata, etc., etc.
Okay, that's actually really useful.
Yeah, it's really trying to allow ease of diagnostic.
Mhm.
And the fun side is the icon that I used for it. I don't know if you're in the FlatHub page or the
I've got it open,
Codebird page.
yes. At the FlatHub,
On
yes.
FlatHub, you can still see my old icons,
Mhm.
my old icon, which was made by me.
Mhm.
If you go on the Codebird repo, you can see the new icon that just recently made by GNOME folks.
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah, in the links in FlatHub.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm bad at drawing, so at the point where I needed to match the FlatHub guidelines, which began to ask more than just the icon to work. So for people who try to follow the GNOME guidelines, there is some folks that there is a repo to ask for request. But normally FlatHub should work. They didn't have time to do that. But normally you can ask them for help if you have issues to, for example, to find binding colors. But yeah, I brought up the issue on Mastodon and I got answered, and they changed the documentation to say if you have trouble, they acknowledge that it could be a big something big. Some people might not be able to make it, but they can ask for help to FlatHub folks. Even if I think it's gonna be not everyone's gonna ask, but technically, if you don't follow the guidelines, you might end up being not being seen. You're less visible.
Yeah.
So it's really simple. It's just my only concern with these guidelines was simple and clean. It's just please notice us, the people who are not good at art.
Yeah, that I didn't even bring that up in the video that I did that people got annoyed with because they focused on another part of the video. But no, that's actually a good point as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Logos are hard. Well, I do think Door Knocker is really cool. This, there are two problems that I have on Wayland. One was checking portals. A second one was checking protocols. Both of these problems have now been addressed. Waycheck is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to make my app the most user-friendly possible. I need to add more layman explanations. Because as an example, you can see the row, what is a portal. If you click it, there is a bunch of text explaining what are portals. I may need to fix it. Also, translations.
Right.
If you want, you can help translating Door Knocker.
Yeah, I can't help with that.
Yeah, beside English, yeah.
Give me
give
me a couple of years and work on my Japanese.
I don't know if I enabled British English, but replacing S with Z and color by color would be fun.
You know, I can do that for you.
No, but it's really an app I did alone, and I think the hardest part I wanted to make an app. Having an idea is nice, but having a name, what a hassle.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why my main YouTube channel is my name. I'm not good at naming things
Uh,
either.
and when I say the portals, and I remember, oh, what is the name? Because since I'm French, I only had the French word, and I said, oh, Donoker.
Look,
I have the name.
it works.
I think now the icon. But sorry, it wasn't. Inkscape and me are not friends. I'm not good at art. But yeah, even I think it was Sony and Tobias Bernard. Tobias Bernard said, "Who find the name of this application?" It was. I think he really loved the name. Yeah, because it's stupid. It's we just nom on the portal to see if it's there. But yeah, I can really improve the application. For now, the only screencast. For the next version of Downloader, I just changed how dialog got shown. So you can see on the README on Codeberg. No, not on the. No, sorry. You can't. I can send you a screenshot for now. And you can check also my outputs. I'm sorry, I'm stealing your to nighttime.
No, it's all good.
Screenshot. Yeah, I changed it. Now it's not a separated window. It's a dialog that shows up like it's swapping up.
I see.
It's a new thing from the new 46 stack from Debugger.
That's cool.
And you can swap down on the touchscreen to remove it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I swapped the whole UI to that.
Yeah, that does look pretty neat.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of this. As I said before, I wasn't aware of this application before I started looking into some of the stuff you'd done. But I'm definitely gonna have to give this like a proper look.
Beside Donoker and my OBS contributions, there is not much. Because on the Pipewire side, I only fixed a link in the documentation, and on Glib, I just fixed the RST. There is a tool to convert dbus interface definitions into RST files. It needed to be fixed to work on the XDG desktop port of documentation pages. I try to contribute upstream when I can, but sometimes it's not. It's little, but it's fine. It's.
Well, is there anything else you want to bring up, or can we end off the episode?
Oh no. maybe we could bring other stuff next time if you want, but
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have plenty to talk about next time.
the thing is that once you bring me up a subject, I can find another one, find another subject. Sometimes I'm sure people will complain that I took most of the talk time.
No, that's fine. No, that's totally fine. The less that I talk, the better. So, let people know where they can find your stuff, where they can. I know that you got like a donation link on your website. Anything you want to direct people to?
I think the link stack I have my Mastodon profile would be good because it lists most of the things. But yeah. Copy paste. No, it's copy pasting between XWayland and Wayland. It's fun. I forgot the HTTP.
It's fine. It'll work.
Yeah.
Probably work.
It's a link stack.
Yep.
It's just a link tree like system thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's entirely open source.
Oh. Oh, cool.
You can self-host it if you want. I just use the official French, but not official, the main French instance, I think. Or not, I just use the main instance. Yeah. The fun part is that you can see how many times links were clicked.
Mhm.
And my grand surprise, it was my useless website that got the most clicks.
Well, look, you have a name like that, obviously people are going to go to it, find out what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, I accept donations. My situation is really simple. It's just I'm just an idiot that is unemployed, never got a job, and I'm trying to contribute to FOSS. So, and I explain on the site about donations, about how it works in France. Because when you're in France, you can't give donations to someone easily because it's complicated. So you need to do some paperwork. And so, yes, I have tax on donations. But it's like that. Sometimes I'm sorry, I'm just creating the donations links just to people because people were asking me on the Discord if how they could give money to give donations to me. But sometimes I just have this dream to maybe one day being able to do what I want all the time. Right now, I'm still with my mom, with my siblings, and I don't know how to kickstart my life correctly, so I'm doing for stuff. I'm sorry, it became a life.
No, so good, so good. Well, I'm sure. Hopefully, after this, people like know the work that you do. So hopefully, some people go and decide to support you with it.
Yeah.
Somewhere
in my website, I said I'm lost in this world. So, yeah. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, an absolute pleasure to have you on. I'm more than happy to do this again. As I said before, I'm sure that we'll find plenty to talk about another time.
I still don't know how you're gonna cut this episode in parts for YouTube.
So what I normally do is I upload the entire thing unedited.
Yeah, I know.
And then I have the different parts. Usually what I do is I go through, I find the bits where I start prompting a direction and then just wing it. That's pretty much how it goes.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to direct people to, or is that pretty much it?
No, my link stack contains most of the links.
Okay. I guess I'll do my outro then, unless there's anything else you want to say.
But if you love OBS Studio or any kind of project, think about donating to them. It's pretty nice to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. As for me, my main channel is Brody Robertson. I do Linux videos there 6 days a week. I am very, I've got a lot of podcasts recorded in advance, so I have no idea what will be out by the time this comes out, because this will be out in like 3 or 4 weeks. My podcast channel, if you're on the podcast channel, if you're listening to the audio version of this, you can find the video version on YouTube at Tech Over Tea. If you're watching the video, you can find the audio version on pretty much every podcast platform. There is an RSS feed. Put it into your favorite app. I've also got the gaming channel that is Brody on Games. I'm probably still playing through God of War 2, and I'm probably getting towards the end of Neo The World Ends With You. So pop around for that if you want to see me rant about nonsense. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll give you the final word. How do you want to end off the show?
please use the right issue tracker.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. See you guys later.